Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Jim Masters Show, live entertainment lifestyle variety talk show series. Hope guys are doing well. Hope you're in the mood for some spectacular conversation with a music legend, legendary music producer, musician, drummer extraordinaire, coming to us live from the middle of the country, the USA, in Indiana. And I am coming from the New York area. And wherever you're coming from internationally or coast to coast in the United States, we welcome you to our entertainment lifestyle variety talk show series, where we're bringing back the lost art of conversation. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you're having a good day. If you're not having a good day, well, hopefully we'll put some smiles on your faces with the amazing conversation. We're going to talk about some extraordinary things, incredible projects that he has worked on over the years. He's worked with some of the greats. He is one of the greats in the music industry. We're so excited to welcome Doni Hagan here to the show. Legendary music producer, musician, voice artist as well. Absolutely. We're going to talk about some of that, some incredible projects he's worked on in the voiceover world. As a drummer and vocalist, he can be heard on the film soundtracks for Short Eyes, Stony Island, Sparkle, Colors, Filthy Rich, Let's Do It Again, and A Piece of the Action. He's appeared in the feature films Stony Island and WATTSTAX, and Marvin Gaye, Transit in Ostend, and the Oscar-nominated documentary KUDZU, and can be heard as Captain Crew in the full-length animated feature Felix the Cat-The Movie. In his 35-plus year music career, Doni has performed on 100-plus recordings, like 150 albums with numerous artists as well. He is credited with producing the drum programs for Marvin Gaye's Midnight Love, which includes the now classic recording Sexual Healing. His premier solo effort, Would You Like to Dance, from Infinity Records, earned him gold albums from France and Holland, and he's toured with countless national and international artists, including CHAKA KHAN, Marvin Gaye, ARETHA FRANKLIN, Bill Withers, Curtis Mayfield, George Michael, the BARKAYS, as well as lots more, NATALIE COLE, and JESSY DIXON and the DIXON Singers, and unbelievable television appearances. Well, Soul Train, The Tonight Show, Top of the Pops, Black Echoes, The Old Grey Whistle Tests in the UK, and much, much more. And in addition to that, he's still doing his thing. He's been doing it for a long time. His music production credits include there's Free Spirit Symphony from Warner Brothers, Ian Whitcomb, Masterworks UK, and many more. Voiceover credits even include Toyota, McDonald's, Country Delight, Coca-Cola, and Honda, just to name the few. Gang, that's the short list. That's the abbreviated version of his iconic career. He's somebody, again, that has contributed to music in such an extraordinary way. He's touched the lives of many. And when you think of over 150 albums, we are talking about somebody who's truly a legend in the industry. Yes, he's humble about that, but somebody who has really made his mark and continues to make his mark in such an extraordinary way. As I mentioned, he has worked with some of the greats, but he himself has lent his style and his touch over the many decades to the extraordinary collection of musical treats that we all enjoy. We're going to talk about that and so much more, gang. It's really incredible when you think about the amount of music that he has put out and continues to put out today. When you look at his catalog of music too, you're truly blown away. When I was very familiar with his work, and I always admired his incredible work, but I was reminding myself today when I was preparing for our conversation, again, all of the material from movie to television to working again with some of the greats in the industry. And it's just unbelievable. And I know you guys have been commenting about that as well. You've been very excited that Doni was coming on our show. You're very familiar with a lot of these songs, some of which I just mentioned, many, many more that you're familiar with as well. So this is going to be great, gang. If you would like to comment, because we are live, we do have an international audience, our JMS Lovity audience that watches live. All you have to do is subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is the channel you're watching right now. That's Jim Masters TV. And gang, when you subscribe to the channel, which costs nothing to do, you can actually chat right now live in our JMS Lovity chat room. Yeah, we've got a chat room. When you see me looking in this direction, I'm looking at all the comments that are coming in. We have lots of great comments that are coming in live right now from our viewers. Just subscribe to the YouTube channel. That is Jim Masters TV. Click that red button. Click the notification bell so you can be alerted when we have all these great episodes. And that's an exclusive gift to our subscribers, which costs nothing. You can chat right now. We can see some of your comments. Sometimes we'll throw a few on the screen. And you can chat amongst yourselves too. Say hello to one another, which our lovely audience loves to do all the time. So it's really exciting to have this illustrious guest in his fantastic studio, with lots of incredible awards behind him. You'll see in a second, because I know you guys get stirred up and excited when you like to see the backgrounds behind the guests, especially when we're coming at you live. Again, don't forget, you can always see these episodes archived on our YouTube channel. So if you ever miss joining us when we're live, which is 7 days a week, we've done about 700 plus episodes in the last 2 years, which is hard to believe, day in and day out live. You can see them all archived here on our YouTube channel. Without further ado, looking really mighty spiffy with some cool shades on too. Let's welcome Doni to the show. Doni, welcome to the show, my friend. It's good to have you with us.
All right, thank you, Jim. Thank you very much. I want to meet this guy you've been talking about. Where is he?
You, he's a legend. He's an icon, right?
I want to meet him. Yeah,
he's a cool cat for sure. And well, I think you'll meet him today on this episode,
okay.
Just through the conversation that we have, and everybody's all excited. I know you were seeing some of the comments coming in, and you're like, "Hey, I kind of like this whole lovity vibe. What's this lovity thing about, Jim?" And I was mentioning that I said that accidentally, lovity, when I was saying show has a lot of light, love, and levity.
Yeah, Jan Berry said, "Doni, you are now a lovity."
Yes, isn't that cool?
Oh, okay. So now I know what my new tattoo will be. Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
exactly. Of all the accolades and everything you've been involved in this illustrious career, it's not too bad to be a lovity. Welcome to the show. How have you been? How are you doing? You're in your fantastic studio there. It's been a crazy couple of years, but how have you been as you continue to, make great music for the benefit of all of us?
It's weird. 2019 in I think it was November or December. I don't know if you know what the NAMM show is.
Oh yes,
you know what NAMM is.
Yeah.
For your audience, NAMM is, I think it's the National Association of Music Manufacturers or something like that. And we did a showcase I did with a brilliant guitarist named Eric Steckel. And right after that, COVID hit. Now, 2020 and 2021, obviously the world shut down.
Yeah.
And I found that I really, it's the first time in more, you said 35 years. I started touring when I was 13. I'm 68. So we're talking 55 years.
Now it's 50.
Yeah, and that was the longest period I've been. Pardon me. That was the longest period.
We're all shook up when you said 55.
The longest period I've been, underemployed. I won't even say unemployed. Underemployed. In my entire life, and I found that there are all these things that I enjoyed doing. That I said, "Wow, one of these days I wish I had time to do this." And the last couple of years I have. So it's made me reassess. That's the only positive that I can say came out of COVID.
Yeah.
Is it made me reassess exactly what do you enjoy doing? What is it that you enjoy doing? I love touring, obviously, and I love the music, but it's what I do. It's not who I am. It's a weird way to put it.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. How did you get started? I mean, what for you? Everybody has our influences, our inspirations early on when we're kids. Either we're surrounded by whatever it is we end up pursuing in our lives. Were you surrounded by it early?
Yeah, surrounded by it was pretty much it. The neighborhood that I lived in, within a 2-mile radius of my house, you had the Emotions, you had Earth, Wind, and Fire, you had we call them the White Boys. You had CHAKA. The first band I was with is we called it Disconnected. And we were like doing high school talent shows and all that sort of thing. First one that I really worked with a lot. And that was a guitarist, Elaine Mayo, who was with Tina, I believe, for years. Tina Turner after that, for years later, because we were kids. Me and Hassan Khan on bass, who I'm still very close to. Hassan was Chaka's first husband. And so we all grew up together. When I did Chaka's first solo tour, I don't know if it was her finding her comfort zone or whatever it was, but the rhythm section consisted of her brother on bass, me on drums, Elaine Mayo again on guitar, and a keyboardist in LA that was from Florida at the time, a brilliant guy, Richard Gibbs. If he's watching, hi Ribs,
Hey Ribs.
Hey Ribs. I've been calling him Ribs for years now. I don't know if he likes it or not. but yeah, I mean it's there was so much music. I mean the impressions, Curtis Mayfield, Sam Gooden, Fred Cash lived 2 blocks from me. And being one of the neighborhood kids, I would always go and kind of hang out in the basement when they would be rehearsing. The drummer that was with Curtis was Andre Fisher, and he was one of the founders of Rufus.
Oh yeah.
So it's all been networking. It's really weird. It's all been networking. I can't mention my involvement with Curtis Mayfield without bringing up a man named Leroy Hudson, who basically Leroy was my professor as far as studio was concerned. He taught me, he gave me the freedom. He's the first guy that went in the studio and said, play, just play. And if you overdo it, we'll stop and you'll calm your little butt down and we'll do it again.
Exactly.
But I learned more about what to do. There's still things I do in the studio because the things I learned from Leroy and Curtis. I owe my career to those 2 guys.
Were they some of the ones that you really admired coming up? I mean, who are the folks that you were listening to coming up the ranks?
Well, everybody listened. Oh, I forgot to mention 5 Stair Steps, Jackson 5, Shy Lights. These are all people in the neighborhood. These are all people that we worked the same venues. Who did I listen to as a kid? My folks were into big bands and jazz from the 40s and 50s. I listened to Basie and to drummers, guys like Philly Joe Jones and Rufus Speedy Jones and Louis Belson, guys like that. That's really what I listened to. But I also listened to WVON in Chicago, which was an R&B station, and that's who everybody listened to. If you were black in the South Side of Chicago, you listened to WVON, and you didn't have a radio. And that's, so I grew up with those sort of things. I remember the first time I had a little transistor radio, and I was listening to Satisfaction by the Stones, and my classmates were mad at me because I was listening to WLS instead of WVON. So I had a lot of different influences when Hassan and Elaine and I did that Disconnected thing when we were kids. We did Hendrix covers, and we also did James Brown covers. So it's you listen to everything. It's just music's still a universal language. I mean,
it is, and it's a great healer too, as people realize now more than ever in the recent couple of years too. But it's been something getting people through on many levels. For you, we all have those opportunities where the door is opened, or sometimes we have to nudge it open or kick it open or whatever it may be. And then things happen, or people really start to appreciate our talent and who we are and what we bring to the table and our vision. For you, what when was that? What were some of the things that really got people to understand your passion, your creativity, your talent, and some one or two maybe pivotal times in your career early on that really got that door open and people started to notice how incredibly
I,
talented you are?
I think the most, for my career anyway, the most important thing I did was a song called "All Because of You" by Leroy Hudson under at Curtom Records with Curtis, Curtis's label. All of a sudden, it was a big hit in Chicago and well worldwide, because please worldwide, and that gave me credence. You know, that gave me cred, street cred. You know, after that, I did Natalie Cole. You know, and that was all networking. When I did the 3 or 4 albums, I think 3 or 4 for Natalie.
What was it like working with her? She had one of the most beautiful voices, I tell you.
Natalie was a
sadly missed. Yeah,
Natalie was a sweetheart. Well, I can't get it now. I've got a picture on the wall that she sent me. I was sick. I got sick for a while there.
Yeah,
and I happened to mention it to her, and just I don't know if it was an email or text message. Somehow or another we connected, and she sent me this letter. This picture. It says,
I mean, if you want to take it, you can grab it. A lot of people get up, they grab stuff.
Hold on, just a second.
And yeah,
hold on a second.
Absolutely. Yeah. People grab stuff all the time. And this allows our viewers once again to see another celebrity chair on the Jim Masters Show live. They get to see that fancy, chair you're sitting in too. They get excited.
Oh yeah. My Walmart special down here.
Right. So here it is. Tell us about this. Yeah.
She got back to me. And you know, we talked, I should say, and then one day I don't even know how she got my address, but I got this in the seating seat, right? Yeah, okay, and it just says, "With love, don't be scared, Natalie." You know, this meant so much to me when I got it. I remember bursting out crying when I got this from her, because there was so much stuff that was going on with Natalie. Yeah. Anyway. You know, being close to her and being close to the man that
there it is on the screen.
Oh yeah, far out. Being close to her and being close to the man that ended up marrying her, which is Andre. I call him Dre. I mean, we're when I found out that he married Natalie, I was like, that's wonderful, you know, because these are two people that I honestly respect deeply and love.
Yes.
You know, and it kind of hurt me. Yeah, it hurt a lot. Anyway, but I did about 4 albums with Natalie.
What would be maybe some of the songs that folks would recognize as well instantly?
This will be Our Love, Party Nights.
Yeah.
I'm Catching Hell. Let's see. I could look on the platinum back.
Yeah. Take a look at the platinum. The platinum will be the confirmation.
Let's see. Okay.
He's going to go check the platinum wall there, gang, on the Jim Masters Show live as he takes the wall apart for us. This is exclusive for you guys, folks, on the Jim Masters Show.
I'm going to have to redecorate.
You're going to have to redecorate now. Exactly.
Let's see what's on here. Unpredictable. Party Lights. I've Got Love on My Mind. I forgot about I've Got Love on My Mind. Yeah. Party Lights, by the way. And see, that's what I mean as far as networking. A lot of this business is really networking. You know, when I did the Natalie Cole stuff, the first person I see when I walk in the room is a pianist that I knew very well and still love very much, a guy named Tennyson Stevens. He wrote Party Lights. Tennyson was also in the film Stony Island with me.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, it's all networking. The arranger for Natalie was a guy named Gene Barge, and is still he's in his 90s and still crazy as ever in Chicago. He's a wonderful man. He was the one of the central characters in Stony Island. So, you know, it all kind of links together. My whole career has been like that.
It's amazing.
You know,
Huh?
my whole career has been like that. It's really been about friendships. You know, I've been asked to write a book.
Oh, I can see that. Absolutely. You kidding? Yeah.
And the only reason why I haven't is because these aren't, I can't, if I write a book, it's not going to be this one slept with this person and this one did this.
Not a tell-all type
It can't
thing.
be. It can't be, because these people are my friends. And I mean, you know, they aren't just people that hired me and I'm out to make a buck. You know, these are people, these are friends of mine.
You care,
you know, I care deeply about. Yeah, I'm still in communication with a lot of them, and we haven't worked together in decades. You know, but we're still friends, and I can't do that. You know, you want to have me write a book about the music business? Yeah, it'll end up being a trilogy or something. You know, but have me write one about people? I'm not comfortable.
It's not the way. It's not your style, right? Exactly.
No. And plus, I've had a couple people tell me, you got to wait till I'm dead before you write your book,
because they know what you're going to write.
Oh, look,
you have their number.
I not only know where the skeletons are buried, I probably had loading my shovel. You know, so I can't. I can't do that. No, I got enough skeletons in my own closet to outfit a small med school. You know, so I can't do that.
I mentioned this wonderful relationship with somebody else. Again, we were just mentioning the extraordinary NATALIE COLE, Marvin Gaye, the wonderful friendship and the amazing songs that you've been a part of with the incomparable Marvin Gaye, who also is sorely missed as well. How did the friendship, the collaboration, how did this all form with you and Marvin?
Okay. This is kind of a short story, I guess. I'm sitting in Los Angeles, and I knew Gordon Banks, who was his brother-in-law and also his music director. And Gordon and I were friends from when Gordon was with Mandrill. We're talking years ago. And I get a phone call from I don't know, sometime in the morning, and I'm still asleep. And the phone rings, and it's this guy with a thick, you know, French Dutch accent. Is this Doni Hagan? And I'm like, yeah. And this Freddy Cosart. I'm Marvin Gaye's manager. And I had met Marvin a few years before that at a party at Rick James's house. And I told him, man, one of these days I'd love to work with you, you know. And so anyway, I get the phone call, and I thought it was somebody who's pulling my leg. So I'm like, piss off. And I hung up the phone. Phone rings again. We got disconnected. This is Freddy Cosart, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And I'm like, look, dude, it's like, whatever, 3 o'clock in the morning here.
I don't have time for crank calls.
I don't have time for this. Whoever it is, chill, you know. So I hang up the phone again. Phone rings again. And it's like, this is Marvin Gaye. Don't hang up the damn phone. You know, and I'm like, okay, this is Marvin. Sing something.
Sing something, yes.
And he was, oh, and I'm like, hi, Marvin. How are you? You know, he said, I'm gonna give you back to Freddie now. He was pissed. And he's, I'm gonna give you back to Freddie. And so that's how I ended up with Marvin.
Yeah.
And then I get there, and Gordon's there, who I knew, and Odell Brown, who was the co-writer of Sexual Healing, was his keyboardist. Well, Odell I knew from Chicago as a teenager. Like I said, it's all these dominoes,
it's all these friendships, relationships, right?
Hell, I got to Ostend, and I'm home. Right. You know,
right? Exactly.
So working with Marvin was almost like, it was like, okay, I'm comfortable here, because I didn't really know him that well. I got to know him pretty well, but I didn't really know him that well. But I knew if these people are working with him and they care about him, and they're able to interact with him, I'm certainly able to because I love these people and they love
Yeah.
him. You know,
Yeah.
the way we ended up doing the sexual healing stuff, we got one of the first Roland, I think it's 808s. I think was the number of the drum machine. Marvin didn't know how to work it, neither did I. So we're sitting there experimenting with the thing. And at that time in Europe, there was a lot of reggae.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
a lot of reggae in Europe. And so he wanted to come up with something that was reggae but wasn't reggae.
Right.
If you listen to Sexual Healing, it's a reggae song. It's a reggae ballad.
Oh,
you know, but it's the drums aren't the typical boom, boom. You know, it's not the typical reggae thing. We wanted something different. But one thing I did learn from doing the stuff with Marvin with the programming was never program anything you can't play live. Because you need 3 arms to play Sexual Healing. You know? and I can you know kind of get close to it, but you need 3 arms to play it.
Yeah.
You know, because there's stuff going on and you've got 2 arms over here and you need, it's kind of like Zaphod Beeblebrox, you know,
Right.
you got
Right.
an arm over here.
Yeah.
But I
Gotta be an octopus.
Yeah, you get to play what I programmed. Now it was obviously worked, you know, for a couple of years there I was the most sampled drummer on the planet. According to Drummer Magazine.
Isn't that incredible?
Yeah, because so many people sampled the rhythm from Sexual Healing for rap albums. So I still get stuff from rap albums. Oh, there's Gordon. Yeah, that's him. That's Gordon Banks. Yeah, and he's still in the U.S. and he's still playing and he's still very much a part of my life.
That's a great shot there too, huh?
Yeah, you know, it's so many people. I didn't realize how many people had seen that video. I think more than 2 million people have viewed that video on YouTube.
Yeah, incredible.
And you know, for him to be able to do that and lay down,
right,
with no auto tune or anything,
none of that, right?
That was in the basement of the Casino Carcel, I think it's pronounced, in Ostend, and we were rehearsing for the Marvin Gaye Transcend in Ostend, the concert that we did in Ostend, and they shot the rehearsal. And Marvin was one of those guys; he could care less. He's been around, cameras his whole life, so he's laying on the couch. He's was singing, and we're playing. He's just laying on the couch. That was really. None of us knew that there was going to be a film crew there, and and he's like, "You still don't. Just ignore it."
Yeah, that's incredible.
He does, yeah.
There's another great shot too. Yeah,
you can barely see me back there. I was kind of surrounded by drums. And,
what was it like performing with him and just being in his presence and working with him?
You know, it's the same. I got the same feeling from that I got when I watched ARETHA do the vocals for Sparkle, giving him something he can feel and all that stuff. You know, it's you kind of have to pinch yourself, you know, and say, wow, I'm my black butt is back here playing for Marvin Gaye.
Marvin Gaye, yeah.
You know, it's there are artists that I said I always wanted to work with. Marvin was one of them. ARETHA was one of them.
Yeah, you mentioned ARETHA. What was that? That was, I'm sure.
No, I should say I didn't tour with ARETHA. You said I toured with her. I recorded with her.
Recorded with her.
Yeah. I did a couple. I think I did maybe 4 or 5 dates with ARETHA, you know, but I recorded for her. I did the Sparkle album and the movie. Right. And I did Almighty Fire for ARETHA. Yeah. And just watching her work. The consummate professional.
Yeah.
You know? And it's amazing that the person that, well, with Whitney going, but I mean with the person that picked up the torch is CHAKA. So it's a circle, it's this big circle, you know. CHAKA is you know, basically, as far as I'm concerned, is the heir apparent, you know,
You know who
to
also paid homage to her? Uh, she's a friend, but she was also a guest on the show over the holidays, the Christmas holidays, was Lisa Fisher.
Oh my God, Lisa is one of
Yes.
my favorite vocalists.
Isn't she unbelievable?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, she's a dear friend. We
Well,
worked on things together at Carnegie.
Lisa was a background vocalist for Chaka at one
Yes,
time.
right.
Yeah,
And she
yeah,
mentioned all of these
yeah.
names, and she mentioned Chaka as well. And she's one of the sweetest people too,
Oh,
Lisa.
she really is. She
Mm.
really is.
And she's on tour. She's out, knocking
She's
them dead
working her
still.
tail off. That woman's always on tour now. And I'm like,
Right.
I said, you didn't get enough with the Stones? Jeez.
Exactly. Yeah. Right. Right.
know?
Yeah.
Always on the road now.
Mm.
It's funny because that her seminal record, I guess, was How Can I Ease the Pain? And to this day, that's one of my favorite vocal performances. Whenever anybody says, name a singer, Lisa's in the top 3.
Lisa Fisher is
She's in the top 3. That song still, she hits notes and still bring tears to my eyes. You can ask my son. I've literally watched it on video with him, and she gets to one point in the song,
It's and then of course she was in that sort of documentary. Was it 20 Degrees from Fame which was really fascinating. But I worked with her at Carnegie Hall and a couple of special holiday productions, and just even being there when she's rehearsing is like melted butter. She's just got an exquisite way about her too. I mean, just her way is fantastic.
I mean,
we had such a beautiful conversation on the show.
The Waters in Chicago, background vocalist, Patty Austin, they have nothing to prove.
No.
They have nothing to prove anymore.
Right.
We've done this.
Yeah.
And you may not know that you've heard us, but you've heard us. And that's the same thing I say to people. I've got 5 artists I work with that are in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I mean, if you've heard us work before, I said if I wrote the book, I was going to name it A View of the Sidelines, a view of the front line from the sidelines.
I like that. Yes. Yeah, that's cool.
That's pretty much what it's been.
That is what it's been. And incredible too. Look at this shot. Do you remember where this was? That's a cool shot. Actually,
that was one of the promo shots for
it's a great
Stony
shot.
Island, and I look like a young pimp.
See, folks, that's not what you thought he was going to say, right? You thought he was going to say he's hot, he's in, he's the guy, he's the it man of the hour. He said,
I look at that. That
it
literally
is a cool shot.
That literally is a pink jumpsuit I had on.
Oh, the whole thing is a jumpsuit?
That's not a pink shirt. That's a pink.
Oh, that went all the way down. Oh
my God.
Right? That is funny.
With my puka shells around my neck. Somebody told me, I didn't know who took that picture. Somebody told me that was at Paul Serrano's studios in Chicago, PS Studios.
Yeah.
And I was doing a session for, somebody, Blank Your Blank Blank was the name of the record I was doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I would always dress up in these sort of, that's a ski outfit basically. And
is it? Yeah.
Yeah, it was in the wintertime, and I to heck with just putting on a leather coat. I'll put on skis,
It looks a little bit like you were doing your Spider-Man, which is which right now, if you whip that out, you'd be even hotter than you already have been all these years, since Spider-Man is the in thing.
It would probably fit.
You're ahead of the game even then, see?
Somebody here asked Marlon, what is your favorite genre of music? Okay. I don't have one.
Yeah, that's a good answer. You love music.
Everything
in total.
I appreciate anything that's well done. For the last few years, I've been touring, like I said, with for somehow or another, I've turned into the drummer of choice for these young guitar players, which is brilliant for me. I love because they keep me young. Um, Eric Steckel, I've been touring with him. Django Knight, I've been touring with him. Uh, Both of these guys are brilliant guitarists, you know, uh, and both of them. It's a power rock trio, which takes me back to my roots, which is where I
Yes.
started. Was in a power rock trio, yeah, and that's so. I'm really I love working with those guys. I absolutely do. You know,
Yeah.
they're absolutely fun to work with. And like I said, I'm Uncle Donnie to everybody. You know,
Yes.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm Uncle Donnie. You know, I tell them, look, dude, I got shoes older than you. You know, so you so and they still fit. You know, so yeah,
Was
yeah.
were the drums the very first instrument of choice for you? And are there a multitude of other instruments that come into play for you as well?
Drums were the first,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it started out snare drum, just a snare drum. Um, and I'm sure that my grandmother regretted having bought me that snare drum. But okay, since we're talking about pictures, wait,
That's right. I was
this
going
is
to
my
say I knew there had to be another picture in that.
yeah,
There
that's
it
my
is.
grandma.
What's her name?
Irene. Yeah, Irene DeLong
Beautiful.
Day was my grandmother. Yeah, I was
What
with
was
a
she
group.
like? What tell us about
Oh,
her?
she was a Southern belle. She was um, hmm, uh, from Louisiana. Her mother was the first student to enroll at Southern University New Orleans campus. Her husband, my grandfather, my maternal grandfather, was the first black student from the University of Southern California. Let me get this right: School of Pharmaceutical Sciences. So she was a special lady. She was a very special lady. You know,
Was
yeah.
she into music? Was music a thing for her
Not
too?
not you know not that much.
Yeah.
She wasn't a big. She was a big Donnie fan. You
Yeah.
know, which is
Yeah.
cool. Which is
Yes.
she was a booster.
That's
You know,
great. We
but
all need that in life.
oh
Yes.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You know, it's I was blessed in that regard. That
Mm,
that that my family has always been. You know, it wasn't an my life wasn't an instance where I'm working to get my folks out of the hood. That kind of thing.
right. Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my
Exactly.
dad, my real father, my father probably
Yeah.
was uh, on Martin Luther King's security detail. My mother was very much involved in the civil rights movement. You know, so
Yeah.
it's
Incredible.
you
Yeah.
know, so I
Great
mean,
influences.
yeah, but my family was always there for me. They always
Yes.
and they still are.
Yeah.
I still
That's
rely
that's
deeply
the
on my parents.
best. Absolutely. I mentioned also others, Bill Withers, and we said Curtis Mayfield, George Michael too. Tell us about working
No,
with
no,
George Michael.
I didn't. I did not. How do I explain this? I didn't tour with George, but I played with
You played
George.
with George. Yes. What was that
Yeah.
like?
Um,
And
Brilliant.
what was the event, or was it a series of events?
No, it was just dates around the UK, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he's a sweetheart.
Yeah.
He's a really nice guy. You know, it's I guess I'm not talking out of school. That I have never been. I've never allowed people even around me to be homophobic. I don't play that, you know, um, because too many people that I've been involved with, uh, professionally and personally, friends have been gay. You know, you can't be in the music industry and not be around gay people. You can't. It's virtually impossible. And living in LA, it is literally impossible. You know,
Yeah.
I mean,
The entertainment industry as a whole.
you
Yeah.
can't do it. I mean, the creativity that's in that community, it's all you can't do it. And some of the people that I'm still very close to, including family members, are gay, and never I never understood that. I never understood it. You know, what somebody does with their genitalia behind closed doors is their business. I've really never understood that. It's not about who you are. You know, it's about the person you are. You
Right.
know,
Yeah.
I,
Right.
I you know,
The
and
quality of the
the
person, the
quality of the
integrity, the
person. Yeah,
character.
yeah. I know
Yeah.
people. You know, it's. I know musicians I can't stand, and I know some that I'd walk into a lion's den with a steak suit on for. You know,
Right.
and it's you know, if you're gonna dislike somebody, you dislike them because of who they are, and not because of what they decide to do,
Right.
who they
Exactly.
love. For God's sake, you see his T-shirt. You know,
Yeah. Right.
it's
Right.
like,
Right.
you know, for who they love. You know, it's that's I can find a million different reasons to hate somebody.
You're right. Exactly.
other, other than that,
uh,
you know?
non-payment for work
Oh,
done is one of
oh,
them.
yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah. There are guys
text
that
in the mail. Uh-huh.
there are guys that I will. No, you got to pay me before I get on the TV.
Yes, before you've
Oh,
learned.
yeah, oh
You've
yeah,
learned
oh
early.
yeah, yeah. There are some folks that and it's funny that I was just talking to Eric last night. We were talking about I'll be in Europe next month.
Oh, terrific. What's happening there?
I'm doing the Blues Express Festival in Luxembourg
Very
on
nice.
July the 9th.
Excited? Ready?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
I am
How do
because
you prep? Like when you got to do something like that, and you're going overseas. What's some of your prep? Do you do anything prior? Any exercises, breathing,
you know
sleeping? Is there a routine for you?
I used to go to the gym
Yeah.
and work out and all that. Now I get my exercise driving other people to the gym.
Yeah.
Um, you know, it's what I do is basically focus on what it is that I'm going to do. Like, for example, Eric sent me the music that he wants to do on for the show, and I've been listening to that. You know, I could rehearse all day long, and it's not going to change the way I'm going to approach it once I get on stage. It's an adrenaline thing that kicks in, and it's not the same. You know, it's just not the same. So how do I prep for it now? I just kind of focus and go through my luggage and make sure there isn't anything in there that the TSA is going to get on me about. You know, but you know,
Just getting through that, you're
yeah,
halfway there.
yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah. Wear shoes with no laces, you know. But yeah,
Well, you're
I
not
just.
bringing the pink jumpsuit, are you?
Oh no, no.
I
You
mean,
know,
that they
I
might stop
probably
you for
still
that.
fit it. You know, I haven't. It's weird because I see guys from back in the day, and they were, you know, they were my size, and now they're like 400 pounds and stuff.
Yeah.
And they look at me and they're like, you know,
You
how, you know,
yeah.
how have you stayed so small?
What's the secret,
You know,
right?
and
It's just all, yeah.
yeah, I said, I don't know, man. I eat like a pig, so I don't
You know,
know.
I mentioned too, as much this, what comes first for you? Is it the actual performance? Is it performing? Is it, being an incredible drummer? Is it being a phenomenal musician? Or do you love the music producing more? Or are they equal? Tough one, I know.
I like producing for people that I like production for in genres that I've never done. Um, I'd probably be a terrible, like just straight up R&B vocalist producer, um, because honestly, I can't think of any other way to say it. I've worked with the best. You know, I've worked and known the ones I've worked with. I've known, and you know, shit, Aretha's a hard act to follow. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
you know.
Gee, that's tough to top.
So yeah, so
Is there anybody that you wish you would have an opportunity to work with, or wish if they're no longer here, you could have had an opportunity to work with folks over the years that you admired?
mm, Nippy, Whitney, for sure. I'd have loved to have worked for Whitney. And I knew people that did, and I would have loved that. Be honest, I'd like to work with Pink.
Oh
She
yeah.
seems like she'd be a lot
Yeah.
of fun.
Yeah.
I used to want to work with Mariah Carey until I met her, but I shouldn't have said that, Mike.
Now you have to put it in the book.
Yeah, no,
You got to start the book now. There you go.
See, I was told I was going to get myself in trouble. but yeah.
Tough day in the studio. It happens.
Yeah, but I would have liked to have worked with Whitney.
Yeah.
Only because of the fact that I when she made her transition, I honestly felt robbed.
Oh yeah.
Because I really saw myself growing old with that voice. I wanted to see where that voice went.
Yes.
I grew up with Aretha's voice.
Yes. Right.
And I watched how she, how her voice changed and how it matured and how it got warmer as she got older. And I really wanted to see that happen to Whitney.
Yeah.
And when she passed, I was heartbroken and pissed off.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like a ripoff, like, right?
How could
yeah.
you do this? How
right.
You take this from us,
And then
I know that's selfish,
No, I feel the same way. And whenever you hear her voice come on anywhere, radio, what have you, it's like a reminder of how pure that sound was and passionate. And it was just a real deal. It was so authentic and so commanding, but yet warm at the same time. Really extraordinary.
Well, she had amazing genes. Think about it. Sissy, Dionne Warwick was her aunt.
Yes.
I mean, geez,
great.
How could you not know how to sing? But it's you spend your life around Whitney, around Sissy Houston, you better know how to sing,
Yeah.
But it's that was, they're
that would be.
What do you think of Esperanza Spalding? I think she's brilliant. That's cozy. Oh, okay. I forgot to mention one of my influences. Her father, a guy named Pete Cozy, was the guitarist with Miles Davis when he went to the Electric Band, the Bitches Brew period.
Yeah.
Pete was the mentor for so many musicians. And he introduced me to Buddy Miles. He introduced me to the Neville Brothers. He introduced me to the what was the name? I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah.
But I mean, Pete opened my head up. He introduced me that everything wasn't doom bop, doom bop, doom bop.
Right.
There are different time signatures and different ways of approaching things.
Exactly.
Mariama, I love you too. Yes, I'm sorry. I'm having a conversation with a friend
great.
on
She's
here.
There, welcome. Yeah, she's now a Lovity. They've already said you are a Lovity on the Jim Master Show. Now she is as well. So you are a Lovity, and welcome. We're making her blush. We can see it too. She doesn't realize we can actually see it.
There's absolutely no way I could leave Pete out.
If we made her blush, we've certainly done our job. That's for sure. Those are some great names too. You know who else I also admire, and she's still around doing her thing. I mean, you don't hear about her like in the top news as much, but boy, has she made a mark. And whenever I hear her voice, I have a lot of her music. Shirley Bassey.
Oh God, yeah.
Yes.
I saw her once in Vegas. And I didn't know. I knew who she was. Golden God, I knew that, but I didn't know her body of work and just how amazing a vocalist she was. And she's this little tiny woman who's just voice, It's funny. Kate Bush has got a resurgence going on right now.
Yes.
And when Marvin worked the Hammersmith Odeon in London, that first UK tour we did, 2 nights later, Kate Bush was at the Hammersmith Odeon, and I had never heard of her. and the percussionist that was doing Marvin's tour was a British guy from London, and he was doing Kate Bush as well. So he's like, "You got to come to," I said, "We were just there a couple of days ago." He said, "No, you got to come to Hammersmith and see Kate Bush." I had never heard of her.
Yeah.
And by the end of the show, I'm backstage, like standing ovation. I'm standing up, applauding like everybody else. It's funny. Like I keep saying, it's networking. This whole industry is about networking.
Yeah.
But she's another one of those artists that I absolutely admire.
Yeah.
And particularly when I found out she wrote 99% of her stuff.
Isn't that incredible? We just lost actually a dear family friend, but somebody who was rather legendary, and just recently in January, Ronnie Spector from the Ronettes.
Oh, yeah.
Be my little baby. Whoa. Yeah. Great music, great people.
Well, see, now that's the sort of thing when you talk about influences. It's hard to say this person or that person or this person that I listened to. I listened to music. I was a big Ronnie Spector fan. I had a crush on Ronnie Spector, to be honest. And it's you listen to music. I was a big Ronettes fan. Yeah. It was hard not to be if you came up during that period. I was coming to my realization about music about the time that Be My Baby and all that stuff came out.
Yeah.
And so all those were influences, all of that. I can't stick a fork and say this is who I listened to. I can't do that. I listened to all sorts of stuff.
Look at this shot.
My God.
You've got a phenomenal laugh. I loved it when we were doing the sound check before. You got a great laugh. If anybody's, if you're at a comedy club and the person that's doing the comedy is bombing, they would want you in the front row because it's a contagious laugh. It's great. This BARKAYS, tell us about this.
The BARKAYS were, now when I was with them, we did a show. They were the hardest working band I had ever worked with.
What year was this, would you say? Probably
I'd
70
say
something,
mid 70s.
Mid 70s, yeah.
Mid 70s, because I look like a dirty Q-tip in that picture.
Dirty Q-tip.
but they were it was not uncommon when we weren't touring, we were rehearsing. The BARKAYS were the hardest working band I ever worked for. They were, but I learned a lot from them in terms of presentation.
Yes.
We did a date, one of the black colleges on the East Coast. We did a couple dates, and that we were headlining, and our opening act was this band called Earth, Wind and Fire.
Yeah.
And that's,
we've heard of them.
Yeah. And they were doing this sort of Afro rock thing, very good music.
Yeah.
Not fun to watch.
Right.
And we came out there with snakes and the hot pants and, and stuff blowing up on stage. Larry Dawson was insane, and stuff blowing up on stage. And I talked to Maurice years later, and he said, the BARKAYS, those two dates were the reason why they went back and reformatted Earth, Wind and Fire and made it more theatrical, because we blew them off the stage for 2 nights. And it wasn't because of the music, because quite honestly, I knew half the guys with Earth, Wind and Fire at that time. They're all from Chicago.
Yes.
And I knew them, and they were all brilliant musicians, but it wasn't a show.
Yeah. Right.
It wasn't a performance.
Right.
And right after that is when they started to reformat what they did with Earth, Wind and Fire. The next thing you knew, they're coming down in pyramids and flying around the stage,
Yeah.
But that was, Reese told me that himself. He told me that.
Did he?
Yeah, he told me that. He said BARKAYS,
real.
you did not want to come on after the BARKAYS.
Right.
You
It's a
didn't.
tremendous influence.
You didn't want to
Yeah.
do it. You didn't want to come on after the BARKAYS. We were out to kill.
You
did not want to come on after
Everybody
us.
stand back.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It was a show. It was definitely a show. And that's what it was. You know, to this, I'm proud of those. That's Daryl Buchanan, the guy next to me. Daryl, I still work with Daryl.
Yeah.
We had a group together called Hagan, which was a combination of our two names.
Mm-hmm.
All we did was change a C to a G.
Yeah,
So
I like that. Yeah.
Hagan. And Daryl now, as a matter of fact, I've done a couple festival dates with Daryl in the past couple months.
Was this 80s, would you say?
That's the 80s.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the 80s. Yeah, that's Daryl, and Daryl and I are still very close. He's another guy that he's one of those people for me that just call, man. You know.
Yeah.
We'll talk about the money later.
Later, right?
Just call. You know.
Right.
And yeah, that's Duke. Yeah.
And that's now. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great shot, huh?
That's not too long ago. That's before I cut all my hair off. Yeah.
When did you do that?
About 3 years ago.
Did you? Was that a difficult thing to do? Was it a tough?
It was, and it wasn't.
Time was ready.
I had a formal thing that I had to do,
right?
And I put on the tux and the bow tie and all that, and I'm standing there looking in the mirror, and I said, I look like a Jamaican maitre d'. so I was like, you know, either the tux has to go, hair's got to go, bro. You know, and I had dreads for forever.
Yeah, yeah.
And just one day, it's
time to change it up a little bit, and
And now I wish I had them back in some crazy glue. That's Eric.
Yeah,
that's Eric Steckel. If you ever get a chance to go on YouTube and check out, he's a brilliant guitarist.
Yeah,
and he's part of my extended family now. He's an absolutely brilliant guitarist.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, to work with people that really, you know, I talk about the scope of your career. We haven't touched upon it yet, but you're also a brilliant voice artist, and you've lent your voice to a lot of incredible projects, commercials, and so much more, which is really terrific. And people probably can hear some of that. Coca-Cola, Honda, Country Delight, McDonald's, Toyota.
I haven't put my radio voice on yet.
The radio voice. And even involvement with Felix the Cat, the movie.
Who knows what evil lurks in the hearts and minds of men? You know, I mean, it's yeah.
How did that all happen? Because that's a fantastic, you know, I've done some voice work too over the years, but it really is a fantastic area of expression, to be able to either take on characters or just read copy straight.
The Felix the Cat thing was the same people that Daryl and I, the same studio, and the people that own the studio in Hamburg, Germany, were involved with, I think his name is Don Ariola. That was the owner of Felix the Cat. He owns the rights to it. Right. And they were doing some stuff there, voiceovers and stuff. And somehow I was doing vocals, and we finished, and he said, there's a song I want you to sing. And it was called All You Need Is Friends, which was part, you know, the credits music in Felix the Cat. And I did that. And then he said, do you want to do one of the characters? And there's a character, and then there's Captain Crew. And that was Captain Crew's voice, you know.
Yeah.
And I said, oh yeah, sure. He said, well, can you do it? And I do that voice on. And he said, oh yeah, there you go. You know. Yeah. So
that was it.
That, and I did radio for a while. Yeah.
Did you enjoy that?
I did, actually. I was news director for WSMC TV, and I was also the news anchor for WSMC TV.
And that, what city is that station in?
That was southwestern Michigan, DeWattsTAX, Michigan.
Wow. Now, did you enjoy, you know, you and I were chatting. I work in TV and radio. Did you enjoy the whole television thing?
I did.
Yeah.
It was part of the CNN news source thing that they were doing, where they would give live streams or give news streams to colleges,
Yes, right.
and
And you'd be
we could
supplying that.
we could
Yeah.
edit and and do it and broadcast them live, and I did that for like 2 years. My degree is journalism.
Is
Uh,
journalism,
yeah,
right?
is writing for broadcast journalism in specifics.
Was
Specific.
there a thought to do that, to go to CBS News or,
Well, it was CNN. Basically,
CNN? Yeah.
what news source was, I found out later, was kind of a farm team
Sort of
for
a
CNN.
launching pan.
Right.
They would sort of scout people from that.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
Exactly. And they were sent a my tape down. They sent it to Atlanta, and I got an invitation to go. And in thinking about it, I was like, well, if you do TV, you're not going to be able to play.
Do
You're not going to be able to
the
tour
music,
anymore.
right?
And I was like,
Unless you write the news theme.
yeah. Or I could do like James Earl Jones did, make $1 billion.
This is CNN. Yeah.
Three words.
What a gig.
Yeah, what a gig, But no, I made a choice,
Yeah.
And I don't regret
I think
it.
you made a
regret
good
it.
one.
I don't regret it.
No. You know how they used to find a lot of the news anchors way back years ago, before the internet and the availability of having all the online stuff out there, is I know that a lot of the larger markets, the New Yorks, the Chicagos, the LAs, they would drive to like the middle, or fly to the middle of the country, or they'd go over to the Carolinas, Virginia, wherever, and they would book, a room, in a motel, and put on the local news, and they would watch the local stations and take down notes. I like her, or I like him. I like that weather guy, that sports guy, that anchor, that entertainment reporter. And then when they went back to the big city, to Boston, Philly, wherever, they would have a solicitation made to the station for that person. Hey, this is Boston calling, and we saw you, and we'd like to have you come up to Boston and audition for Eyewitness News or whatever.
Well,
but they would go to the motels and turn on the TV in the motel room and watch the local news in the smaller markets, and sometimes find people that way.
Well, maybe that's what they did, because I always thought that they sent a tape. Sent a.
They did that too, yeah.
Tape.
Oh, yeah.
Because one day
3/4-inch tapes.
I just got a phone call,
big tapes
from somebody in Atlanta.
Isn't that great?
And I was like,
Ted Turner territory, yes. CNN.
And I was like, can I get back to you? And I think what they wanted me to do is
now that call you answered, right? You didn't have it ring three times like Marvin Gaye. That one you answered.
No, I answered that
CNN,
call.
Really? Ted Turner? Ted, thanks.
Well, that was because that was believable. Marvin calling me wasn't.
At 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, right. At 2 in the morning. He knew better.
Yeah.
But
when Ted calls, you answer.
And it was. I said, well, let me get back to you. And I said, how much time do I have to think about it? And they said, well, take as much time as you need. And they told me that I would essentially be interning in their news division, because CNN had other things that Turner Broadcasting was involved in.
TBS Network, right, and all that,
all that stuff, and classic TBS classic
Turner classic movies, right, and he owned it. I think at that time he owned the Atlanta Braves baseball team.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, they could have stuck me out there as a sports guy. So who knows? Yeah. So I didn't. They said I would intern with the news division.
Yeah.
And then they would give me some airtime, and I thought about it. I said, this is. I got a tour coming up, bro. I mean, it's like,
and the news waits for no one, right?
Right. This is my first love.
This is like,
this is my first love.
That is funny.
Jen,
but still, you had that experience, which is cool,
Oh yeah,
it's and all that voiceover work. How did the whole Honda, Coca-Cola, all those national names come your way? Toyota, McDonald's,
through the stuff that I did. The through being news director for the radio
So
station,
with that,
and
yeah,
I guess I did a couple of I guess you could say regional
right,
spots,
right.
and somebody must have picked up on it because I got a phone call first from Country Delight is orange juice, you
Yes,
know,
that's right.
and I got that call first, and then Honda called, and then Toyota called. So I was waiting for GM to call. They never did.
Right.
And so that's really how
Are
that
you
came
still
about.
doing voice work in that way? Still doing commercial work or
Very,
narration
very,
or
very rarely. I don't
yeah,
do it as much as I used to. There's I just
yeah, yeah.
honestly my without this getting too morose about this, um, my mother has advanced dementia, and when she started to decline, I moved her in with me. So
It's very beautiful.
because look, she put up with so much Donnie
She's your
the rock
mother.
star
Yeah,
BS.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I couldn't do that. And I don't regret a second of it.
No,
But
no.
which is why I don't do long tours now. That's why I'm going to
Right.
Europe for 4 days.
4 days, come
Yeah,
back,
come
make
back
sure
home.
she's okay. Right.
I,
Spend the time you have with her. Right.
without dropping a name on anybody, there's a lead singer, and I'll just say he's with a very famous rock band that left the band because the band insisted they go on the road when his mother went into the hospital right before they went on tour. 5 days into the tour, his mom died.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
he got off the flight, he said, "I never want to see you people again."
Right.
You know
Right. Right.
and that's
Hmm.
not the word he used.
Right.
And he
Right.
left the band, and
Yeah.
I can tell all your listeners they know who this band is. But
Yes.
I'm
Right.
not dishing dirt here because that's just him and his mother.
I've heard of
But
so many stories like that where,
yeah,
the opportunity to go off and go on this project or whatever it is and
well, yeah,
torn between it and then somebody passes during that
I
time.
would never, and I'm an only child, and I would never
Yeah.
forgive myself if I was in BFE and something
No.
happened to her.
No.
So
No.
she lives with
No.
us now. She lives
That's
with me.
beautiful.
Yeah, she's
That's
here with
great.
me.
That's a
And
blessing. It's
you know,
beautiful. And describe her.
uh,
What has she always been like and her
she
influence on
was
you?
she was. I used to tell her I was going to have the word tact tattooed on her forehead. She was, and I'm speaking in the past tense because it is, but she was intelligent. She was entrepreneurial. She was an activist. Uh, it's they say that a boy's first true love is his mother, and her longest lasting love is her son, and that's a perfect
Definition.
de- description of our relationship. You know, um, yeah,
Has she
she's
influenced your music at all over the years?
not so much influence, but it's funny. When I was a kid, I would be in the basement playing, and there'd be a dozen kids down there with drum sets and guitars in my basement playing. She would wake up. I'd be playing in the middle of the night, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. She'd wake up when I stopped playing,
Yeah.
you
Right.
know. And we had
Right.
this sort of new tone intercom system in the house,
Yes.
and I'd stop playing and I'd hear, "Donnie, what are you up to?"
Right. Yeah. When the
And
music stopped,
the
that's when you
music
got to check
stops
in.
and you're up to something, And she said, I can smell that up here.
I was going to say, yeah. Yeah, no, I'm up in the bedroom and it's getting foggy.
Yeah, I can smell that. What are you doing down there?
Right.
I'm going to the bathroom. Okay,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah.
But she
Oh,
influenced my music
mothers
by
know everything. Yeah.
she influenced my music by her taste in music and the sort of
Yeah.
things that she had
Yeah.
bunch of records, that I
Yeah.
would listen to. And that's really how she really did, if there's any way that you could peripherally be involved with it. Just the stuff that she listened to, I listened to,
Yeah. Yeah.
And I still listen to it. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm just as likely to put on Cab Calloway as I am
Yeah.
to put on Jay-Z. you know.
Right. You
So
appreciate it all,
yeah, yeah,
which
yeah,
is I'm the same way. Yeah, I've
yeah.
always parents and all of their music very influential for me as well. All the different genres, all the different time periods. Absolutely. We mentioned Stony Island. Tell us about what was it like being involved in that
It
movie?
it was the first time I had ever been on a movie set.
Yeah.
Um, and basically the musicians, even Quincy Jones gave us a really nice compliment
Mm,
that it was because nothing was overdubbed.
right.
All the music was live. You know, the musicians in Stony Island were, for the most part, the same people I did NATALIE COLE with.
Hmm.
The albums with her, and and even Gene Barge, like I said, was a central character. Percy, I think, was his name. In Stony Island, he was the arranger for Natalie. You know,
Right.
so it was the first time I had been on a movie set, and honestly, I didn't know how to act. Is don't look at the camera. Don't. As a matter of fact, ignore us. And just do what you do.
Yes.
But some of the people that were in that, Ray Dawn Chong was in it, uh, uh, Joanna Hoffs, Bangles, yeah, the
Hmm.
Bangles. That was her first film, and it's all live.
Yes.
Literally, they say play, and there isn't a single overdub in that movie.
None.
Not one. It's all
Wow.
live music. It's all live music.
Wow.
Yeah.
Great
Yeah.
experience, huh?
It was. It really was.
You
And
know,
and
yeah,
basically, I played Donnie. It's
right.
just easy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The best role to play is
Yeah,
yourself.
yeah,
I
yeah,
say that all the time. I
yeah.
mentioned also, I think I mentioned Soul Tone. Tell us about this.
Oh,
This is a great shot too.
Soul Tone's a cymbal company that I wanted to endorse, and they were nice enough to give me some equipment, and I like. Oh boy, I'll get myself in trouble here. I like this stuff, but I've there's a sound that I'm used to. Cymbals are like anything else. People think they just these metal things just kind of hit. No, they're with the different companies come different qualities. That's why Zildjian has been around for so long. That's why
Yes, right.
Sabian have been around for so long. I like the soul tone stuff. As a matter of fact, my one of my kits here in the studio, it's all soul tone stuff. But it's I'm I have to get with them, and it's not their fault. It's not their product. It's not their fault. It's my fault. I need to go to the factory.
Yeah, to the actual, right.
Yeah, I need to go to the factory and spend a day choosing what I need,
Yeah,
because the stuff that I need to hear, the stuff they sent me, I don't hear. But it's
right.
it's it's not. It has nothing to do with the quality. They make a brilliant product. It's just I need to go through their ranges and find out. Okay, this is I want this one. I want that one. I want this one. I want that one.
Right.
And
Exactly.
and the stuff they sent me was just kind of off the shelf.
Right. Yeah.
And I said it just doesn't just
Yeah. You need to
but
get in
but I
and
but
get
but
immersed.
I'm still affiliated with them though.
You're still,
Yeah, I'm still affiliated with them.
this one double kick.
Yeah. Uh, I- Back in the '80s, and I don't even remember who it might have been. The Impressions. I really don't remember who it was with, and people have asked me, and I don't remember because a lot of the '80s was a blur. Um, uh, I did the Tonight Show,
You did the
and
Tonight Show. You did Soul Train, Tops
yeah.
of the Pops. I mean, you did
Well,
so many.
the reason why I played my setup like that was there's the drummer for the Tonight Show is a guy named Ed Shaughnessy,
Yes. Oh, yeah.
and he played what they call unmatched bass drums. And I that night I played his kit, and
What was that like?
oh, first
Yeah.
off, I'm playing Ed Shaughnessy's drum set, dude.
And
That's
was Doc Severinsen there or Tommy Newsom?
that was Tommy Newsom, I think.
Tommy Newsom was
I
there,
think
yeah.
Tommy Newsom. But that was that was the A-list of big bands, you know.
Yes.
And I'm playing on Ed Shaughnessy's drum set, you know.
Tonight Show Orchestra, yeah.
Tonight Show Orchestra. I mean, you know, you know, hey, we moving on up, you know.
That night instead of here's Donnie, they said, here's Donnie.
Hey, you know, I mean, yeah, my head was as big as it could possibly be that night. And the reason why he played those offsides bass drums was because he said for tonal reasons, for one, but also his left foot was weaker. He played double bass drums, and his left foot was weaker than his right foot. And he got more impact out of his left foot with the smaller bass drum.
Right.
And I'm the same way. I've always kind of played double bass, you know.
Right.
And even when I didn't need to, other than in the studio, you don't need those in the studio. But live touring, I played double bass. And once I realized that, I was like, oh, far out. That's why he does this. So I started doing it. I've been doing that for years now. Yeah.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah. It's because of him. You know, because double bass drummers have always interested me. Guys like is it Speedy Jones, Speedy Jones, Louis Belson, you know, Pearl Bailey's ex-husband, or Pearl Bailey's husband.
Right.
You know, double bass. These are double bass drum guys. And I always loved it. First off, it was theatrical as hell. You know, I mean, you have stage, you got these two big bass drums with your name on the front, you know. But in the studio, I never played double bass in the studio. You never had to. You know, you never had to play that in the studio. It's funny because I don't particularly like to do drum solos.
You don't, yeah.
I don't care for it. And it's mainly because, first off, I've done all these albums and Aretha never asked me for a drum solo. Nobody's ever asked me for a drum solo, you know. So it's not
like 150 albums is unbelievable. God, gee.
I would somewhere around there. Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
And if the guitar player plays a solo, everybody still dances around. If the keyboardist, saxophone guy, whatever, everybody still dances. The drummer, they stop and watch. And it's, if you have the momentum going, you know, with the crowd and you've got them up and dancing around, last thing you want them to do is stop and watch the drummer, you know. So I'm not big on doing drum solos. I'm not a soloist. I'm a studio musician, first and foremost.
Yeah.
That's what we all endeavored to be. All the guys that I grew up with. Yeah. Fred White, you know, Freddie and I talk all the time, or you know, until very recently. And we wanted to hear ourselves on the radio. You know, that was what we wanted to be on the radio. You know, it wasn't about being a star.
No, it was.
I want people to know what I'm doing. I want to be recognized for what I'm doing. And I've been very fortunate. I have been recognized. You know.
Isn't that incredible? I mean, is there anything that you haven't done yet that you still want to do, or that you're working on, or that's still, you know, on the Donnie radar at all? You've done so much.
Just keep doing what I enjoy. If that's not a vague answer. There isn't anything. There are very few places that I've wanted to go that I haven't been. I've got all this hardware on the walls. You know, I've kind of proven my point. What I want to, you know, what I want to do now is just enjoy what I'm doing. I'm at an age now where I can do that.
Yes,
I can be specific about who I want to work with and when I want to work with them and how I want to work with them, you know.
Right.
So
great place to be. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's at this stage, you know, if I don't want to work with you, I'm not going to work with you.
You know, what's really nice too is like you say, the wall behind you of all the shiny accolades is that your family was able to see, the fruits of the labor, to
Oh,
see this
yeah.
success. It doesn't always happen where those who support you and love you and sort of give you that launch pad in the beginning get a chance to actually relish in and see what you've become and how you've influenced people and how your talent has blossomed. And you've had that beautiful opportunity to have them experience it. And that's a beautiful thing, isn't it?
My grandmother was at Madison Square Garden when I played there for Ruth Copeland as the opening act for Sly and the Family Stone. And that's one of the few gigs that she came to. Almost probably the only one that she came to. And I can remember coming off stage and seeing Mama standing there, with the smile on their face. And it's packed, he sold out Madison Square Garden. If you look at the inside of the There's a Riot Going On album, that's Madison Square Garden. There's a double cover, and the
Right.
whole and it's a shot from over the drummer's head.
It's Madison Square Garden.
And that's Madison, and I did those dates with him, and it's she was there for that, And so I mean she's seen it. My mother's seen all these things,
Yes.
and she's my dad saw it. I mean, it's yeah. I'm not disappointed at all. I don't have many regrets. I really don't. My regrets are more along the lines of I should have been nicer to this person, or I should have been more politic with this person, or something like that. But as far as my career, I don't have many regrets. I don't. I really don't.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing to say, because a lot of people don't have the luxury of saying that no matter what they do in their lives. So that's a really beautiful thing.
This has been fun.
Yeah.
It's been a great ride, man.
It still is, right? Still is.
It still is. It's still
all these years,
I mean, like I said, I'm going out next month. I mean, it's
how has it changed? Even the industry, you've been there through the decades, you've seen it change. Like if somebody wants to go into it now, it's changed on a lot of different levels.
Dramatically. The good thing about the invention of the DAW, a digital audio workstation for people who don't know, the computers making music on computers. The good thing about it is it made it accessible to everybody. The bad thing about it is it made it accessible to everybody. A lot of people that call themselves producers are actually programmers, in my opinion. To me, a producer was a Curtis, was a Quincy Jones, was a Gamble and Huff. These are guys that took a song and turned it into something that you're gonna be humming and singing for the rest of your life. You used to tour to sell your records. Now you almost give your music away to sell your tours and your marketing. And your
right. The ticket sales and the tours, put people in the seats, have become the big, and all the other merchandise and things of that nature have become the emphasis, sometimes even over the actual music itself.
I got a chance, because he sampled something that I played on. I got a chance to meet Jay-Z. And really nice guy, Sean. He kept calling me Mr. Hagan, and I'm like, stop that, But he was really, really nice. He and Beyonce worked the United Center in Chicago, and I got an invitation to come backstage and talk with him, and I did. And he said, we give the music away. He said, we don't make any money on the music. We give the music away. We make the money on the tours.
Yeah.
And on the T-shirts. And on
I've always heard that. Yeah.
He said, the music, Spotify's giving you a penny for every, this is a whole nother conversation. And we could have that one.
So true. No, I have a lot of friends that mention,
I mean, it's literally, pimping, basically.
Yeah, yeah.
and he said,
Please download, please stream, please
yeah,
download, right? You
right.
see that all the time with everybody,
He
yeah.
could have 1 million downloads. I was shocked to find out, and I don't know how true this is, but I believe it. I have no reason not to believe it for the people I got it from. That Pharrell's song "Happy,"
Yeah.
when it was at its peak, he got a check for, I think it was like $5,000-6,000. You know, when this thing was
You would
blown,
never
when you
expect
couldn't,
that was
when
everywhere. Yeah,
everywhere,
everybody.
you know, that he got a check for under 10 grand from Spotify. And I'm like, or iTunes, one of them. They're paying, you know, like slave wages, you know.
And they're dominating it all,
And they're
right?
dominating it all.
Yeah.
But so now it's you don't even, if you're not selling perfume, if you don't have t-shirts, if you're not selling, you know, your music, it's about marketing now. It's about merchandising. And if you're not merchandising yourself, you're not making any money in the music industry now. And it's, you have to know how to sell, not just, we're a product. Curtis used to always tell me, we are a luxury item. You need food, housing, and clothing. You don't need what we do. You want what we do. And we sell a product like Clorox sells bleach and like Ford sells cars. I had that beat into my head sitting around Curtom Records. You know, always remember the music business is 2 words: music business. We sell a product.
Right.
You know,
just like show
right,
business.
right.
Yeah.
We sell a product. And if your business is not online with your creativity, you know, you have to be just as avaricious as you are creative. You know, you do. You really do. And particularly now, because there are less and less and less venues for a young artist to come up and make himself or herself known. You know, all you have is like YouTube, TikTok, Instagram,
And they're all oversaturated.
and they're all oversaturated for everyone that stands.
Your music video could be next to a video of somebody eating gum or something.
Or, yeah, or
you know what I mean? It's like
some guy with a juice heart playing straws. I mean, you know,
right.
You know.
And your video is the next one, and you're like, wait
Yeah,
a minute, how are we all in the same lane?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I've even said that with my work on television, radio, and everything else. I'm like, you know, you could have like an episode of this next to an episode where somebody's, you know, jumping backwards upside down into a pool that doesn't have any water.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like,
right.
huh?
Right. And the music business, particularly pop music, is exactly what it says it is: popular music. It's 16 to 25-year-olds are the target demographic, although pop music has a wider, you know, demographic that it reaches.
Yeah.
But that's the target demographic. And people wonder why somebody can be this week's pop star and next week she's working at McDonald's. And that's because, you know, what you listened to when you were 15, by the time you're 17, you don't have anything to do with that.
Right.
You know, so it's when I see those artists, that's why, back to Whitney, that's why Whitney broke my heart so much.
Yeah.
Because I watched her make that transition from pop star to this woman.
Mm-hmm.
And I really wanted to see where that progression took her. I've seen where it took Chaka.
Yes.
Chaka's brilliant. One of my favorite songs of hers is one off a jazz album that she did. It's The End of a Love Affair, I think is the name of the song. And it's the last thing you'd expect from a Chaka Khan to tell me something good. That's the last thing you'd expect from that.
Right.
You know, but this was she's matured with her audience. Stephanie Mills has matured with her audience.
Another, yes.
Yeah, you know, and so those are the ones that lasted. You know, Chaka's had a 50-year career like me. You know, we all grew up together. You know, so,
right.
So it's. But I've watched her. She's not afraid to admit that she's in her 60s and she's proud of it, and she's accomplished this, and she's doing things with her voice that I'm thrilled to see her do. You know, I'm absolutely thrilled to see her doing it. Yeah.
It's incredible. I tell you, it really, really is. You've been doing it all these years, and what are some of those continued blessings and joys in your life, my friend, that sort of keep you in the game, keep you wanting to stay connected? Like you say, you can do it on your terms, your level, at the speed that you want to do it, because you've earned that right, but you're still in it. And that's a beautiful thing, inspiring and entertaining us and in the way that you do. What are some of those things that continue to drive you to do it?
Number one, I've been sober for 35 years. That's number one.
That'll do it. Yeah. And congratulations. That's a great thing.
Thank you. Thank you. You know, what's kept me sober is people ask me, what's kept you sober for 35 years? I'm not ashamed to say it. Fear. Fear has done it, because I was told early on in my recovery that if you relapse, chances are very good that within 2 to 3 months, you'll be right back where you were when you entered recovery. Well, we're talking about $1,000 a day cocaine habit, and I can't do that. And I can't go back there. I can't go back there. I'm blessed that I came out of it, and I'm not
at these gas prices.
Oh, dude, I'm blessed I came out of it, and I'm not living under a bridge in a Kotex box.
That's right.
So I mean,
yes,
eating ramen every day. So I've been really lucky.
It's beautiful.
And that's I can't. Now, other than that, what keeps me connected is working with guys, younger musicians. It's I get up there, I don't feel like this old man on stage with them, because they respect what I did, or I wouldn't have the gig.
Yes.
So I'm bringing something to their table.
Yes.
Which inspires me to play at their level.
Yeah. Right.
Play at that same, and it also reminds me of why I'm doing this in the first place. Yes. When I work with these guys, man, it reminds me of why I'm doing it. It's not just a gig when I'm up there with them. I'm doing something. This is where I started.
Right.
And this is it was my first love. For the longest time, I considered myself a rock drummer as doing R&B, So,
yeah.
So I mean,
music is your mistress. Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that's what motivates me now more than anything else is the people that I've been really fortunate, the young guys that I've inspired, and that keeps me on my toes because they knew who I was. And because they listened to me. So I can't come up and half-ass do it. I've got to be correct when I come up with them,
There's a level, right, that they honor, right?
Right. I wouldn't be here if they didn't respect what I was doing. And I have to honor that. And that's a tradition that was handed down to me by people like Pete Cozy.
Yes.
And, that he was always surrounded with these young guys, young musicians. And I think it kept him connected to a great extent, and now I see where he was coming from with that. I really do. And I feel very fortunate in that respect. I really do. When I find out that stuff that I'm doing has been sampled by Jay-Z, Kanye, Ashanti, and I'm like, this stuff's 30 years old, guys.
Yeah, but still,
it's
they know what's good, right? They know
it's relevant to them, So that inspires me.
Absolutely.
That inspires me, and I'm proud of that. I'm very proud of that.
Yeah, as you should be. Somebody else that joins me here towards the latter part of the show that really enjoyed it, Mr. George Burns, is with us.
He's got my glasses on.
He's got the glasses. He's got the cigar. He's got cigar. That red pocket square, and he always comes in towards the latter part. And he
said, humidor is upstairs.
Right. He said you knocked it out of the park, kiddo. He absolutely loved the conversation. He's very honored to have had you with us here on the Jim Masters Show live. And from one legend to the next, he wishes you nothing but continued blessings and joy in your life, as I do at the Jim Masters Show live as well. So you got
Jim,
love from George, who played God too. So you got God on your side.
Oh yeah, this was a lot of fun.
Fantastic.
Normally interviews
Could
I don't
be a
get
little
to talk
dry.
about anything but drums.
Right.
You know, and this was a lot of fun. I appreciate it. And thank you for the time.
The pleasure is all mine. And you're welcome back anytime. We'll keep the porch light on for you. And I hope the show met whatever expectations you had and you enjoyed the time with me as much as I absolutely have with you, Donnie.
I did. Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And thank you, Lovites.
Yes, all those lovities watching.
Lovities. I'll get it right. I'll get it right.
So, well, no, see what you're doing is so I said light, love, and levity 2 years ago, and I ended up with lovity, which is combining the love and the levity. And what you're saying with Lovite is you're combining the light and the love. See, you got the first half and I have the second half. That's what it's all about. The feeling is still there. And Jen says, Donnie, come back soon. Love ya. And Merlin in Ontario, Canada. And Jen's in Pennsylvania, in Allentown. And Merlin is in Ontario, Canada. This was groovy. Jane's watching in Sweden, one of our regular lovelies as well. Thanks for being here, Donnie. And thanks, Jim, as well. Nikki says, it has been great to have you here. Donnie as well. And Jen says once again that you are a Jim Masters Show lovity. Kathleen's in New York City. Thank you, Donnie, for being here and sharing your life with us. He absolutely has. That great feel. Donnie brings it. Absolutely.
That's Mario.
Very kind to say. And Nikki says this is a most enjoyable conversation, Jim and Donnie. And let's see, Joan here says, thanks, Jim. Wonderful show. And thank you, Donnie. Great conversation. Come back soon. So good stuff. Really, really cool stuff. We will definitely keep the light on for you, my friend. And truly, thanks for all your contributions to the music industry and, 150 albums and then some. And I love all these other things. So I like sprinkling, like you say, not just talking about drums, but, the news anchor, voiceovers, working with all these other fabulous people that you honor and respect, talking about your family and the influences and inspiration of loved ones and friends and your grandmother as well, who supported you, and your mom, and all of it matters. It's a full circle sort of conversation, which is what I love to do on this series. And you made it a delight for me as well, my friend. And I wish you all the best. Let's stay in touch, and I hope we chat again real soon.
Please do. And just by the way, a shout out to Ralph Lampkin.
Yes.
Yeah. Ralph,
yes.
Okay, kid, I owe you lunch.
That's it. Yes, he's terrific. And we always appreciate him and everything that he does as well. And we give him a little, there you go. Thank you to Ralph. We appreciate our friends there, Lampkin Music Group as well. And anything coming up, or where can they go if they want? Is there a website somewhere that they can go to connect or to learn about what you're up to?
As a matter of fact, I took my website down in 2020. Because I knew I wasn't going to be touring, and it really wasn't. Right. And I'm
anything
in the
to
studio.
Put on there.
Right, I'm in the studio working, now on another, basically a solo project, but it isn't. I'm not completed. It's not completed yet.
Yeah,
and I kind of work like Donald Fagen does. It takes me forever to get something done.
Oh yeah, right.
So Steely Dan is the longest.
Yes,
it takes them forever. So that's kind of what I'm doing now. But I am going to set the website back up, and people
cool.
will be able to,
and it's basically your name.com.
It'll be Doni Hagan.
DoniHagan.com.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Well, thanks for all the time. We chatted for an hour and 40 minutes.
What, has it been that long?
Yeah, and it never, all the guests say it doesn't feel like that. It's just, it rolls.
It didn't for me, but I can be really verbose. So I'm sorry.
Then you are with friends then. You be well, my friend. And thanks for all the laughs too. Have you ever thought my father has always said to me, Jim, you should have gone into comedy. You've got a comedic timing too. Have you been told that before?
I have, but I like to eat. So
Yeah, right.
so,
Yeah, that's a whole other right.
I like to know that there's going to be
That
food
there's
when I get
things
home.
that are
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
A little stability there. You're the best. And again, congratulations on all the best to you and your family. And we'll chat again soon. Okay, my friend?
Great. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Oh, thank you for joining us. You be well. Take care now.
You too.
All right. Thanks for being with us. If you've subscribed to our YouTube channel already, thank you so much. Leave a comment for us. Give us a like. If you haven't, we invite and welcome you to do that. And we love you for doing that as well. We'll see you on the next one, okay? Thanks for being with us on this episode of the Jim Masters Show. I'm Jim Masters. Cheers.